Satyavan is telling Savitri about himself and his experiences. In men, I met strange portions of a self that sought for fragments and in fragments lived. Each lived in himself and for himself alone, and with the rest joined only fleeting ties. Each passioned over his surface joy and grief, nor saw the eternal in his secret house. I conversed with nature, mused with the changeless stars, God's watchfires burning in the ignorant night, and saw upon her mighty visage fall a ray prophetic of the Eternal's Son. I sat with the forest sages in their trance. There poured awakening streams of diamond light. I glimpsed the presence of the One in all. But still there lacked the last transcendent power, and matter still slept empty of its Lord. The spirit was saved, the body, lost and mute, lived still with death and ancient ignorance. The inconscient was its base, the void its fate. But thou hast come, and all will surely change. I shall feel the world mother in thy golden limbs, and hear her wisdom in thy sacred voice. The child of the void shall be reborn in God. My matter shall evade the inconscient's trance. My body, like my spirit, shall be free. It shall escape from death and ignorance. And Savitri, musing still, replied to him, "Speak more to me. Speak more, O Satyavan. Speak of thyself and all thou art within. I would know thee as if we had ever lived together in the chamber of our souls. Speak till a light shall come into my heart, and my moved mortal mind shall understand what all the deathless being in me feels. It knows that thou art he my spirit has sought amidst earth's thronging visages and forms across the golden spaces of my life." You can begin, Suresh.
In man I made strange portion of self, that so for ferment and in ferments live.
Fragments.
Fragment live. Each live in himself and for himself alone, and with the rest join only fleeting ties. Each passing passion over his surface, joy and grief. Now saw the eternal in his secret house.
So this is his experience with human beings. He says, I met portions. There's one self, no? But the human beings feel themselves to be portions, only parts of that one self. And so they are looking for fragments. Fragments and portions, these two words have the same meaning. They mean parts. And fragments especially means these are broken parts. When we drop a glass and it breaks into fragments, no? Small pieces that we can't put together again. So it's as if all of us human beings are small broken parts of one bigger thing. So we are living in these small parts ourselves. Each human being, each person lived in himself and for himself alone, just for himself. And the connection with other human beings, these are only fleeting ties. There are some connections. There are the people we meet, people we talk with, the people we work with. But these connections, these ties, are only fleeting. They don't last long. They are soon changed. So each person feels passionately his own feelings of joy and grief on the surface, no? Our happiness and our sadness and our anxieties and our troubles, all these things are very important for us. But they do not see, we do not see the eternal within us, in his secret house. No? The divine whole is in each of us. So this was a strange experience for Satyavan, this experience of the way people are fragmented, parts, broken parts of a whole. Gumsun, you will read, yes?
I converse with nature, muse with the changeless stars, gas watch fires, burning in the ignorant night, and so upon a mighty DJ's fall, awake the captive of the eternal storm.
Yes. So he feels more in connection with nature. He conversed this rather than with people. He prefers to communicate with nature. And at night he muses, he's in a thoughtful, meditative state. He feels in connection with the stars, the stars that don't move and change. Those stars at night, these are God's watchfires, as if the stars are keeping watch, protecting the whole universe. They have their fires burning there in the night. And if we think of the symbolism of stars, that the stars represent suns, the many suns of truth, no? They are burning there. In our ignorant night, we don't know that boundless light of eternity. But when he muses like that, when he converses with nature, he sees on the face of nature, on the appearance of things in nature, he sees a ray falling, a ray of light that's not coming from any earthly sun, that's coming from the sun of the eternal. I think we read that sentence last week, no? We talked about this word prophetic. Yes. Lady at the back, would you like to read? Yes.
I sat with the forest sages in their trance. They poured awakening streams of diamond light. I glimpsed the pleasure of the one in all.
And read the next two lines, yeah?
But still there left the last transcendent power, and matter still slept empty of its will.
Yes. So when he sits and meditates with the sages, with the rishis in the forest, then he gets the feeling that there's wonderful light, streams of wonderful light wake up his consciousness. Diamond light, absolutely pure and bright and strong. No? And he says, then I would get glimpses. A glimpse is when we see something just for a moment, or just in passing, just partly. So he says, I got a momentary experience of the one in all, the divine presence in everything. But still something was missing in his experience. But still there lacked. When you lack something, you don't have it, and you feel that you don't have it, you are missing it. He feels that he's missing the supreme power, the supreme truth, the last transcendent power. Because matter is still sleeping, matter is still inconscient. We know, we believe, we are told that the divine is in everything, but we can't perceive that in all this matter around us. No? It's as if that is all still sleeping. It's not able to express the divine presence that's within it. That will only happen when that last transcendent power comes.
The Lord is still there. We are not conscious of Him. That's all.
It's not only that we are not conscious, we can say that the matter is not conscious. The matter is asleep, it is not aware of that divine presence. And the divine presence is there, yes. But matter is not able to be conscious and not able to express.
As far as matter is concerned, this God is not there.
Yes. Yeah. You'll read Mahalingam?
The spirit was saved, the body lost and mute, lived still with death and ancient ignorance. The inconscient was its base, the void its fate.
So that's how it is, no? We can maybe have a wonderful experience in the consciousness, so that the spirit is saved, it is liberated. But what about the body? What about all the forms? The body still lost, silent, mute. It can't speak, it can't express. The body is still living with death and with this ancient ignorance. The inconscient is its base, this inconscient basis of matter, and the void its fate. When the spirit leaves the body dissolves into all its constituent parts, gets swallowed up in the emptiness. Oh. Bebel, will you read?
Thou hast come, and all will surely change. I shall feel the world, Mother, in thy golden limbs, and hear her whisper in thy secret voice.
He says, but all that's changed now. You have come, and everything will change. It will change, at least for him, he says, I shall be able to feel the world mother. When I embrace you, I will feel the embrace of the world mother. Last time we read that he said, I couldn't clasp the body of my God. I couldn't hold between my hands the world mother's feet. But he feels that Savitri is embodying that world mother, and that through contact with her, he will be able to have that experience. The previous page, lines 195 and 196. I shall feel the world mother in thy golden limbs, and hear her wisdom in thy sacred voice. These are our limbs, the parts of our body. And Sri Aurobindo reminds us of this golden appearance of Savitri. Joel.
The child of the void shall be reborn in God. My matter shall evade the inconscient trance. My body, like my spirit, shall be free. It shall escape from death and ignorance.
So this wonderful intuition he has, that this earthly being, which is the child of space, of the universe, of the emptiness, it shall be reborn in God, and even my matter shall evade. Evade is when you can escape from something. It will be able to escape from this trance of the inconscient, this concentrated state of forgetfulness. So not only the spirit will be free, the body will also be free, and it will be able to escape from death and ignorance. The soul in us is in the grip of death and ignorance. And Satyavan, in a way, represents the soul of humanity, of the earth, of all of us. But he has this intuition that the body also will be free and be able to escape from death and ignorance. Gentleman at the back, will you read, please?
And Savitri, musing still, replied to him, Speak more to me, speak more, O Satyavan. Speak of thyself and all thou art within. I would know thee as if we had ever lived together in the chamber of our souls.
So she's enjoying hearing his voice, she's enjoying hearing all he has to tell about himself. And she's still in a kind of indrawn state, musing. She replied, Speak more, go on speaking, Satyavan. Tell me all about yourself, speak of yourself and everything that you are within yourself. I want to know you as if we had always lived together, as if our souls had always been united in the chamber of our souls, as if we had always been one. Liuba.
Speak, till the light shall come into my heart, and my moved mortal mind shall understand what all the deathless being in me feels.
Yes. So, all the deathless being in her, all her soul feels that they are one, that they are destined to be together. But she says, I want that light of knowledge to come into my heart, and I want to come I want that knowledge, that experience to come into my mind also, that it will really understand our oneness. No? Go on talking, speaking to me. Lady at the back there, do you read?
It knows that thou art in my spirit has sought. Amid,
Yes, amidst, yeah.
earth, strolling, visage, and homes, across the broader spaces of my life.
So this is her deathless being, no? That knows that you are the one that my spirit has been seeking for, waiting for, been looking for in all the appearances of the earth, no? Earth's thronging visages, all the many, many faces that we encounter in our lives. No? A throng is a crowd, and there are many people. So always my spirit has been on the lookout for this face, no? All the forms, my spirit has been looking, and my deathless being knows that you are the one that it has been looking for through all the golden spaces of my life. She recognizes that she's had a very blessed life so far, no? A very happy life, but always something has been missing. She's been looking for something more, something else. Ganga Lakshmi.
Yes. And Satyavan replied her to the instant calling of the flute, and swallowed her questioning, and let stream to her his heart in many color wheels of speech.
That's a nice expression, huh? Many colored waves of speech. He goes on speaking to her, and it's as if the words that he speaks are very colorful. There are many colors in them. So Satyavan replies to her like a harp. That's a musical instrument that we play with with strings, no? That we play with our hands, and as if what she says to him is a melody that's played on a flute, a very attractive melody. So he replies to her with his own instrument. No? The insistent calling of a flute. When we hear these lines, we think of the flute of Sri Krishna. No? And that's an attraction that we can't resist. We can't help following that insistent calling of Sri Krishna's flute. Only when we start to follow, then he goes further off. That we have to follow. So he answered her questions, and he lets his heart stream towards her. He opens himself, exposes himself. Whatever's in his heart, he speaks out to her.
perfect Savitri. More I would tell them freely words can speak. But how is it so esteemed to me unknown? Or that the lighting flash of love prevails in one grand hour of the unveiling gods.
So, this is how he addresses her. Golden princess, perfect Savitri. And he says, I would like to tell you, I would tell, it means I would like to tell you more than words are able to express. Words fail me. I can't express, I can't put into words. It's not possible to put into words everything that I would like to tell you. About everything that you have meant to me. Even though I didn't know you, still I was missing something, and that something that I was missing has meant so much to me. And I would like to tell you all that has been revealed by this lightning flash of love. He's met her, he's seen her, he loves her, and that is like a flash of lightning coming from the gods, revealing so much. He wants to tell her all that. And this one great, or everything that he's seen and grasped in this one great hour of the unveiling gods. The gods have for a moment taken away the veil. With this flash of love, so much has been revealed to him. Dhanalakshmi.
Even a brief nearness has reshaped my life. For now I know that all I lived and was moved towards this moment of my heart's rebirth. I look back on the meaning of myself, a soul made ready on earth's soil for thee.
So they've only spent a few moments together, no? But he says, even this brief nearness, being close to you for this short time, it's completely reshaped my life, changed the meaning and the purpose and the whole form of my life. And he says, now I know that everything I have lived, everything I've experienced, everything I've been, has been moving towards, has been preparing this moment when my heart would be reborn. I look back on the meaning of myself, what I've been in all my past life, and I see what I really am. I'm a soul that's been prepared here on earth to meet you. I think this is the experience many people have had when they came in touch for the first time with the mother or with Sri Aurobindo, that suddenly the whole meaning of their life has changed, and they look back on their past and see how so many small things have just been a significant preparation to be ready for this moment. Rosa.
Once were my days like days of other men. To think and act was all to enjoy and
Breathe.
breathe. This was the width and height of mortal hope. Yet there came glimpses of a deeper self that lives behind life and makes her act its scene.
Yes. So he says, once I just lived like other people, like everybody else, no? And the mind, thinking and acting, was everything. And enjoying and breathing, just being alive. You see, Rosa, it has an E at the end. If it's breath, then it's just B-R-E-A-T-H, breath. And when we have this E at the end, then it's breathe. That's the action, to breathe. Yeah? Mm. So this was everything, to think and act, to enjoy and breathe. This was the width, comes from the word wide, and the height comes from the word high. But here, of course, we see the English spelling. Why is that E there? I can't tell you, but there it is. So, thinking, acting, enjoying, breathing, this was everything there was, the width and height of mortal hope. He didn't think that any human being can expect or hope for anything else. But still, he says, yet there came some glimpses, some little flashes, some small experiences of a deeper self. Something living there behind this surface life of enjoying and breathing. That deeper self that makes all this act, this drama of life, it's seen. There's an observer, there's a deeper self within which watches all this or acts a part in this drama also. A truth was felt that screened its shape from mind. A greatness working towards a hidden end, and vaguely through the forms of earth there looked something that life is not and yet must be. So he has glimpsed this, or he has felt that there's some truth, there's some reality that can't be grasped by the mind. It screens, it hides its shape from the mind. It doesn't show itself to the mind, this truth, this reality. That truth, he says, he feels, he felt it as some greatness, some great power that's working towards a hidden end, some aim, purpose which can't be seen. And then when that is being felt through the forms of earth, it's as if some presence is there looking out, something that life is not. Life doesn't express that. And yet life must become that greatness. It must become that divine life, no? That divine possibility that is there behind everything that we do and experience. So shall we read on? Suresh, should you read? Yeah?
I groped for the history with the lantern thought, its glimmering light with the
Yes, so this is what we do often, no? We know there's a mystery, we have a feeling of a mystery, but we try to understand it with our minds. A lantern, it's a small light. Nowadays we have flashlights, but it's more poetic to think of it as a lantern with a little candle inside it, no? So then, if you only have that little lantern of thought, you are groping. If you can't see properly, you have to kind of feel your way, no? With your feet or your hands. So to find that mystery, that greatness, which life is not and yet must be, he's trying to grasp that with his mind. And that little lantern of thought, it lights things up for us with words. When we think, we put our thoughts into words, and then that's the way we begin to feel that we've understood something. So, but words are not experiences. They are not living. They are abstract. So they can't really show you much. So that's like a lantern that doesn't give much light. It only glimmers. It only gives a faint light through the word. And so the ground that he's exploring is only half visible. And he can only travel yard by yard. The yard is the measurement from here to here. No? It's about a meter, a little bit less. So a little bit at a time. It maps, the thought makes a kind of map. It puts together this and that, whatever little bit it can grasp. It maps a system, something that the mind can grasp, a system of the self and God. You just read the next line, Suresh.
I could not live the truth it spoke and thought.
Yes, so that's the problem with systems. That's the problem with things that our minds tell us. Unless we've digested them in a deeper way, we can't live them. We think them, but we can't live them. He wasn't able to live this truth of oneness that it spoke and thought. Gumsun.
I turned to seize its form in visual things, hoping to peace is ruled by motor mind, imposed on narrow structure of world law, upon the freedom of the infinite, a hard form skeleton of outward truth, a mental scheme of mechanic power.
So again, this is the working of the mind, no? There's this system, and then we try to see that system, we try to seize the form of it, the shape of it, invisible things, the things that we can see with our senses, perceived by the mind. And we try to fix its rule with our minds. And some kind of understanding we have, but he says that's just a narrow structure. It's a mental construction. We think, oh, this is the law of the universe, the world law. This is the way things are. But what we are doing is we are imposing that mental structure of our own understanding on the freedom of the infinite. So the infinite can always surprise us. because it is free. It goes far beyond those mental structures we build for our own understanding. It's a kind of support. A skeleton helps us to stand up, no? A hard, firm skeleton, all our bones, but it's only an outward truth. It's only a mental scheme. And that mental scheme of ours turns nature, which is a divine power, into a mechanic power that's following all these mechanical rules that we've constructed with our minds. We'll just read one more sentence, please.
This light showed the world the darkness and sucked. It made the original secret work out. It could not analyze its cosmic way, or books the wonder worker's hidden hand and trace the pattern of his magic light.
So this light, the light of thought, of mind, what it does is, if we are honest, it's showing us how much we don't know. It's showing us how much darkness, how much ignorance is there that we can't search. We haven't searched into it. And that makes us realize how mysterious this original secret, the secret truth behind, how mysterious it is. The power of thought is not able, it can analyze many things. Analyze means split into parts, understand in an abstract way. But it can't analyze that cosmic veil that the universe wears and hides behind. We find this with all kinds of science and even occultism. The more you know, the more you realize how little you know. So the mind was not able to analyze this cosmic veil, and it's not able to glimpse who is doing all this. Where's that hidden hand of the one who is doing all these marvelous things? And the mind is not able to trace the pattern of his hidden plans, magic plans. It's as if that wonder worker, he has a plan, no? But the mind is not able to read that plan. So we'll stop there for today. We can go back to page 405. And perhaps we'll start to read at line 206. I sat with the forest sages. I sat with the forest sages in their trance. There poured awakening streams of diamond light. I glimpsed the presence of the One in all. But still there lacked the last transcendent power, and matter still slept empty of its Lord. The spirit was saved. The body lost and mute, lived still with death and ancient ignorance. The inconscient was its base, the void its fate. But thou hast come, and all will surely change. I shall feel the world, Mother, in thy golden limbs, and hear her wisdom in thy sacred voice. The child of the void shall be reborn in God. My matter shall evade the inconscient's trance. My body, like my spirit, shall be free. It shall escape from death and ignorance. And Savitri, musing still, replied to him, "Speak more to me, speak more, O Satyavan. Speak of thyself and all thou art within. I would know thee as if we had ever lived together in the chamber of our souls. Speak till a light shall come into my heart, and my moved mortal mind shall understand what all the deathless being in me feels. It knows that thou art he my spirit has sought amidst earth's thronging visages and forms, across the golden spaces of my life. And Satyavan, like a replying harp to the insistent calling of a flute, answered her questioning and let stream to her his heart in many-colored waves of speech. O golden princess, perfect Savitri, more I would tell than failing words can speak, of all that thou hast meant to me unknown, all that the lightning flash of love reveals in one great hour of the unveiling gods. Even a brief nearness has reshaped my life, for now I know that all I lived and was moved towards this moment of my heart's rebirth. I look back on the meaning of myself, a soul made ready on earth's soil for thee. Once were my days like days of other men. To think and act was all, to enjoy and breathe. This was the width and height of mortal hope. Yet there came glimpses of a deeper self that lives behind life and makes her act its scene. A truth was felt that screened its shape from mind, a greatness working towards a hidden end, and vaguely through the forms of earth there looked something that life is not and yet must be. I groped for the mystery with the lantern thought. Its glimmerings lighted with the abstract word a half-visible ground, and travelling yard by yard, it mapped a system of the self and God. I could not live the truth it spoke and thought. I turned to seize its form in visible things, hoping to fix its rule by mortal mind, imposed a narrow structure of world law upon the freedom of the infinite, a hard, firm skeleton of outward truth, a mental scheme of a mechanic power. This light showed more the darknesses unsearched. It made the original secrecy more occult. It could not analyze its cosmic veil, or glimpse the wonder-worker's hidden hand, and trace the pattern of his magic plans.